contemporary art has kind of lost the battle to fashion several years ago, and it's now it's another function of entertainment. So this is a way, it's a kind of micro-resistance, a kind of a way of looking at maybe our recent history as a way of understanding the present and the future, like I talked about. What we can't really talk about is a singular Africa. I don't think it exists other than in a geographical sense. So it's a social space. It's a series of countries that are incredibly different, and it's looking at commonalities and shared experiences across a number of those countries. As an artist, I choose to talk about these subjects, so I pursue it in this direction. In my work, there's always an element of the real. These are real mining share certificates from MacGarry and all over the place. These objects are real. Buy them in auction houses and things like that. This is a drill bit from Ghana. It's used to extract crude oil. So there's an element of the real, there's an element of life in all of these things. The works are always, even the sculptures are very much based on a kind of assemblage. So you have multiples of something. You have numerous, you don't have one person, you have multiples of them. So there's a dialogue, so that there's a conversation between the works. And in a dialogue there can be a tension, there can be humor, there can be all sorts of different things. This body of work is looking at a recent history, not the future. Although this is a way of understanding. It's a way of trying to understand, because for some reason Africa is often cast in the past. It's often cast historically. It's not. There's very few talks about where these countries are going, what's happening. It's always kind of historical. So that was a way of trying to get out of it. And then these works, in a way, go back into a very particular, very idiosyncratic recent history, with the idea that the next body of work, once this is internalized, will then talk about the future in a different way. There are two films. The one was made in Angola, called Excuse Me While I Disappear. It was shot in a huge housing development built by the Chinese in Kilimakashi. And I shot a young guy who lives in the city centre by night, and then during the day he's a groundskeeper at this massive city. So there's that film showing, and then I made a film recently in Venice called Sea of Ash, which looks at a completely fictional narrative of a man coming from West Africa, making the journey into Europe via the Mediterranean. He goes through a number of different, quite small events, and then he, in essence, goes to the beach and swims home. A lot of these works have a kind of they have a foot in the real, as in I've bought something from the 1970s and stuck it on and essentially presented it for looking at. The objects around those objects, this for instance, is a framing device in essence, like contemporary art is. It's a way of kind of look at this, what you make of those relationships and the whole.